Welcome back to my video channel and welcome back to one more video. In this video, I'll discuss about a group of unique organisms called lichens. Lichens are unique because they are formed by the symbiotic association between two different groups of organisms. One group belongs to a different kingdom called fungi, the other group belongs to one more kingdom called plantae. So the organisms belonging to two different kingdoms, they come together in a symbiotic association to form a unique class of organisms called lichens. So lichens are very important group of organisms that tell us how to live together in a harmonious manner, which is lichens are a complex life form that is a symbiotic partnership of two separate organisms, a fungus and an alga. The dominant partner is the fungus, which gives the lichen the majority of its characteristics, from its thallus shape to its fruiting bodies. You're seeing here a bird sitting on a branch with fruticose lichens. Lichens is an association between alga and a fungus. The algal partner is called a phycobiont, the fungal partner is called a mycobiont. This association is known as symbiosis or mutualism. Animals also depend on lichens, they feed on lichens. Mycobionts are usually from two different groups of fungi, that is Ascomycota and Basidiomycota. At least 26 genera of algae are involved in this association to form a lichen. The fungal and algal partner lose their original identity when they form a lichen thallus. Lichens are designated by new generic names, specific names. They lose their original names. They have a different nomenclature. They have a different classifications. However, broadly, lichens are classified based on the fungal partner. We are classifying lichens on a simple basis of what is the group to which the fungus belong. That is, we call them as ascolichens if the fungus is Ascomycetes, or basidiolichens if the fungus is from the group Basidiomycotina. Lichens withstand extreme climates, thus they are found almost everywhere, from hot deserts to chilly mountains, that they are found everywhere, almost all type of habitats. But they can colonize rocks where life is almost impossible. They also colonize fertile soils, tree trunks, and almost all types of habitats. Lichens are most sensitive to air pollution. Sometimes lichens are used as indicators of air pollution. Numerous types of thalli are recognized among lichens, which are grouped based on their morphological characters, but broadly there are three types of lichens: foliose lichens, that is leaf-like lichens; crustose lichen, that is crust-like lichens, which are almost like a layer of paint on rock; and fruticose lichen, where the lichens are branched, upright or pendulous. Frutex means branch, shrub. Anatomically also there is lot of variation among lichens. Here you are seeing a picture. We have crustose lichen, the simplest form, where the lichen forms a thin layer of paint on the barren rock. They are the first to colonize rock, and they are the first to start the xeroseed, the plant succession on a barren rock. So crustose lichens are very important ecologically. Foliose lichens are leaf-like lichens. Fruticose lichens, where frutex means shrub, shrub-like lichens. So we are seeing the three different types of lichens here, and they coexist in this rock surface. You are seeing in the middle there is a crustose lichen with fruiting bodies. and also there are foliose lichens. Coming to the different types of lichens based on the structure of thallus. The first one is crustose lichen. The thallus forms a crust over the substrate. It is firmly attached to it. There is an upper cortex, at least in early development, but no lower cortex. And the medulla is in direct contact with the substratum. So these crustose lichens are very difficult to extract from the surface. The crustose thalli do not show much differentiation. We have two best examples. One is graphis, the other one is verrucaria. So these are called crustose lichen, where the thallus is formed by the intermixing of fungal hyphae and algal cells. So this is also giving rise to one type of thallus called homomerous thallus. And the crustose lichen, it is very difficult to extract or remove from the substratum. They are so firmly attached to the substratum. You are seeing here different types of crustose lichens that are colorizing the rock which is rich in iron. This is one very important example of crustose lichen, Ophiopharma, which is showing the production of sex organs. The sex organs are already formed here in this lichen. Two more examples of crustose lichen. Graphis crypta is a very famous crustose lichen. On the left hand side you are seeing Caloplaca, which is just a thin layer of thallus that is firmly attached to the rocky surface. Coming to the second type called foliose lichen. These are leaf-like lichens. In a transverse section they show much resemblance to an angiospermic leaf. Starting from the above, they have an upper cortex, an algal layer, medullary layer, and a lower cortex. The lower cortex is made up of pseudoparenchymatous tissue made up of fungal hyphae. Medullary layers are consisting of loosely interwoven hyphae. Pores or hair-like rhizoids are found on the lower surface. The example is Physia, Sticta, Parmelia. So these are the three best examples for foliose lichen. You can see here in this picture the upper surface of foliose lichen, which is leaf-like, and also you are seeing the lower surface of the lichens. Two more examples of foliose lichens. Coming to the third type called fruticose lichens. Frutex means shrub. They are some of the largest and perhaps the most complex lichens. The thallus generally forms flat, leaf-like lobes with differentiated layers of tissue, the upper and the lower cortex forming the upper and the lower surface. The lobes are commonly found, not always appressed to the substrate surface. The lower cortex is very well differentiated and it is showing a lot of coloration. And what is most important is, from the lower surface, root-like structures or rhizoid-like structures called rhizines are produced. And these are helping the lichen to get attached to the substratum firmly. So in this case, the algal cells, the algal forms are forming a uniform layer as a patch in the hyphae. So there is a different algal zone both in fruticose lichen and also in the foliose lichen. You can see an algal zone where algae are found in a definite zone. For fruticose lichen, we have Usnea, Cladonia, Evernia are the best examples. You can see here the lichens, fruticose lichen, which are looking like shrubs, at the top of which you can see the reproductive structures which show peculiar colors. Two more examples of fruticose lichen. Lichens grow at a very slow rate, usually less than 1 millimeter per year. The maximum growth that has been recorded is about 4 millimeter per year. At the same time, they live long. It has slow growing and long living organisms. Coming to the anatomy, as I've already mentioned, you can see two different types of internal structures in lichens. One is called homomerous lichen, where the fungal hyphae are intermixed with algal cells. The other one is called heteromerous lichen. On the right hand side you can see here where there is a clear cut algal zone. Algae are found only in this region and it is very well differentiated. You can see the upper cortex, algal zone, medulla where we have intervone hyphae, and the lower cortex. From the lower cortex, the root like structures which are helping in anchorage called rhizinae are produced. One more picture to show you the heteromerous type of lichen. Upper cortex, where we have a photobiontic layer, algal zone it is called, medulla made up of interwoven hyphae, and compactly arranged hyphae form the lower cortex and also the upper cortex. From the lower cortex, rhizinae arise. Coming to the reproduction, lichens usually reproduce only by asexual methods. Sexual reproduction, if at all there, is by the methods followed by the fungi. Asexual methods are fragmentation, suridia, isidia, and lobules. Sexual reproduction occurs by the methods followed by the fungi. So they may produce the ascocarps or apothecia, in which the ascospores are produced if the lichen is made up of an ascomycetes member, if it is an ascolichen. If it is a basidiolichen, where basidiospores are produced. So sexual reproduction is purely based on the type of fungus that is involved in the formation of that particular lichen. So you can see the reproduction here, apothecia, in which the ascospores are produced, typically just like as in case of the other fungi. We have suridia, we have isidia. These are the asexual reproductive structures. Coming to the lichen apothecium, see the lichen apothecium will look exactly like the apothecium that is found in a fungus, for example in case of Peziza. But the difference here is you will see a very clear algal zone. Just below the upper cortex there is an algal zone. By looking at the presence of this algal zone, you can say this is an apothecium belonging to lichen. Otherwise you can easily mistake it for the apothecium of Peziza. Both look almost similar, but both produce the reproductive structures, the ascospores, in the same method. In the ascospores we have 8 ascospores are produced. All the other details are same. The only difference is the presence of the algal zone below the upper cortex. Coming to the economic importance, many lichens are very sensitive to environmental disturbances like air pollution, ozone depletion, metal contaminations. Sometimes lichens are used as the indicators of pollution. At the same time, lichens are also used for making different colored dyes, perfumes, medicines, etc. And they also are used as food by some animals, especially the insects. And even the reindeers, whenever they don't find any other food in the hilly mountains where there is the mountains are completely filled with ice, that time lichens will be there and they feed on lichens. You can see here reindeer which feeds on lichens. Lichens are also used as medicines. The list here given, you can see they are used for controlling fever, treating epilepsy, heart diseases, hydrophobia, whooping cough, jaundice. Various ailments are actually treated by using different types of lichens. So lichens are highly medicinal also. One lichen that is used as a spice, that is called Parmotrema perlatum, which is commonly known as kalpasi, a stone flower, and this lichen used as a spice. It is available in the market. The arsine, acetoarsine, which we use for staining the chromosomes, is extracted from lichens like Rossella and Lecanora. Here you are seeing the two lichens, Rossella and Lecanora. These are the two lichens from which we extract arsine, and arsine is used for making acetoarsine, the stain that is used for staining the chromosomes. You can see here the chromosome stained by acetoarsine, and this arsine is extracted from two important lichens, that is Rossella and Lecanora. Thank you very much for watching my video. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much.